When did you first experience being stalked and targeted like this?
The first time I experienced it is when I was walking down the road. People started to follow me.
Because if you're a TI, you're in an assassination program.
It's like a worst nightmare that you know you will end up waking up from.
Trying to explain this in a way that's understandable.
I've got moving implants attached to my skeleton, enabling me to be controlled remotely.
Beyond point one is unsafe.
I've got stuff in my body because I've had beeps going off inside of my head.
Any normal person would go, are you all right? Do you know what I mean? Are you sure that you're feeling all right? Because you're talking crazy.
An estimated 10,000 people around the world are all reporting the exact same terrifying experience.
Electronic harassment, synthetic telepathy, voice-to-skull technology. Chances are you haven't heard of these terms, but after searching the internet, I found dozens of websites dedicated to the phenomenon, residents who say they're victims.
We are TIs, targeted individuals.
They say they're being monitored, manipulated, and even tortured.
This is not a joke. This is not science fiction.
Because people know nothing about mind control. They don't know that your thoughts can be changed.
Through the internet, they've validated each other's experiences, and a community has formed.
We're not having a group hallucination. This is actually something that's happening.
They call themselves targeted individuals.
This is a death camp. This is a concentration camp.
I will expose you one day. I don't care who you are or who you think you are or who you're connected to.
People don't even realize. People will never realize until it's too late.
Where would you like me to take you?
So we're going to the Bouverie Conference Hall. This is a major UK event organized by Britain's leading targeted individual, Kieron. It features other groups who are highlighting the abuse of covert technology.
Okay.
A lot of them complain about apparently finding things inside their bodies, like implants and bits of technology. What do you think?
I think it's a little bit of science fiction, and perhaps they've seen one or two Bourne trilogies too many.
Day one, take one. I'm standing here today because the person who should be standing here has been murdered. Max Spiers was part of a program of extremely secret enhanced human beings. This involves involuntary use of implants, and we have another gentleman here in this room called Kieron Lee Perrin. Kieron Lee Perrin is part of the British Targeted Individuals program. He's got implants inside his head. These are things you can actually see and measure. Lots and lots and lots of people now have these implants in their head. But if we do not engage this problem, we as humans are finished.
Max Spiers had died just a few weeks before the conference, and that created a ripple of anxiety throughout the community.
And I just made that up myself. Yeah, that's right.
You said it before when we were speaking on the phone, that the truth movement is gaining ground, and you've seen that, and that inspired you to hopefully get back involved again, I hope, Dave. If a TI on his own as an individual approaches authority, they're easy to dismiss. But if there's multiples of them, it's a lot more difficult.
At this stage, we've heard a lot of talk about what a targeted individual is. I mean, everyone's heard someone make a string of unbelievable statements like that. But when you hear that person say it, and then you look around and you're in a room with 60 other people all nodding in agreement, that is a weird feeling. Miles Johnston, the head of the conference, broadcasts videos about targeting to millions of viewers worldwide.
Hello, hey, and welcome. This is my little studio. The whole point about this place is to, when I interview people, not have a whole lot of tripods and cables and things. So I decided to put this thing up here, which is pretty solid. I'm also an archiver, so I have a lot of stuff on audio reel. So we'll, but this is just only a laptop. And there's our TV studio.
Do you think that so many people would think that they were targeted if they hadn't seen your stuff through the internet?
Remember, these are people who have had very strange experiences in their lives. The proof is now coming through with MRI scans. That's physical, tangible results and evidence.
How many views do your videos get?
I think I'm 13 million or something.
So what are you setting up for now?
I'm setting up to do a quick fast blast based on the latest information I've got about Max. A lot of the people I've interviewed in bases over the last 20 years, very terrible things have subsequently happened to them because what they're talking about is real, it's dangerous, people's lives are affected, and people die in this thing.
Max was a major figure in the targeted community, and he was recently found dead in a villa in Warsaw. He was 39 and had no known health conditions, but a Polish doctor pronounced him dead of natural causes. But the targeted individual community believed that because of what he knew, Max was assassinated.
Death as a bloody lamppost.
Miles took it upon himself to keep everyone informed about the ongoing investigation.
There's a major problem as to the time of death of Max Spiers. Max's mother feels that she's been stonewalled and effectively blocked from really finding out what happened to Max. Gone but not forgotten.
Another well-known target Miles has interviewed regularly is Kieron Lee Perrin.
Hey, Kieron. Nice to see you guys. How's it going?
Yeah, good, you?
Good to see you too.
Hey, how's it going? Will you take them for a walk?
Yeah, they're due. If someone's being targeted, if they possibly can, is to get a dog or something like that. It enables you to maintain routine.
So are you yourself a targeted individual?
Oh, yes.
What does that mean?
Well, it's a very broad statement these days. Some people that I'm dealing with, they deal with gang stalking predominantly, manipulation of their lives by others. The ones at the more extreme end, like myself, we're dealing with technological manipulation, which is V2K, voice-to-skull technology.
Wow, okay.
So I can be communicated with in my head.
What does that feel like? Are you hearing voices inside your head?
Yeah, sometimes it's like that. It's literally a loud voice. I mean, it's in some scientific journals described as the voice of God technology. Phoebe, what's wrong with this? Oh, I see. They're in season. Phoebe, I know that they're in season. So.
I can't say hi to you, but because you're in the middle of something.
I am a mind control target.
Oh, I see.
So I've got ICT implants in my head.
Okay.
You've known me for years now. It's why I don't work. It's why I'm always walking around the park. They've been giving me money for years, and it was government doctors that examined me and saw my scans and said, you're telling the truth, but don't ever come back here again. And they gave me a flat and some money, but nobody will talk to me.
Have you ever encountered this sort of thing before with anyone?
No, I hope I don't.
It's done via satellite. It's done via satellites.
Oh, okay.
Trees.
And then they're gathering data,
going off globally.
Right?
I can be hooked up to a wireless network too. It's military technology.
So are you being controlled?
I can be, yeah.
Oh, okay. So who's controlling you then?
That's a $64,000 question. We have the answers to all that. At its core, it will be military, but there are lots of corporate companies involved as well.
I thought it only exists in the film, but
yeah, well, that's why they make films about it, so people think that.
Yeah, I'll let you get on with your work then.
I'll see you soon.
Thanks very much.
Bye.
It was difficult for me to believe the things Kieron was saying, but he was saying them with such certainty that questioning him felt uncomfortable.
So what's on this USB?
Several frames of the MRI scans I had done from 2 machines.
So this is your brain?
Yeah.
And what are we looking at?
The implants here. The ICT implants here. In the red boxes, essentially, and that's them blown up.
Have you had a doctor look at these?
Oh, yeah. My dentist, who's PhD level educated, he just said, look, you don't need any medical training whatsoever to see that these are foreign bodies.
Okay.
That's the real game changer, that probe. And you can see the fragments of another one which has been broken.
And have you ruled out every other possibility before thinking that they might be implants?
Oh, absolutely. I've used all this stuff in defending myself in official situations. The reports I've got on both MRI scans say there are no abnormalities showing. They were trying to discredit me, saying that I needed psychiatric treatment, and they were covering it up.
What's this?
Now, this is to show you the implant that was removed.
Is this something that's come from a targeted individual's body?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. So, did the targeting stop when he got this chunk of flesh removed?
No.
Do you have any plans to get your implants removed?
I've been trying. Look at the top of my back, by the way. Can you see it?
What are we looking for?
These lumps.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've had to operate on that on myself and my ear as well. Doctors refused to operate on me, so I did it in my bathroom with scalpels and 2 mirrors.
Sounds pretty dangerous.
Well, I got a piece of wood, put it between my teeth, and I sliced them off. But take this on board. Look at my mouth. Can you see on this one? There's a round cylindrical thing. And he said, look, that is totally unnatural. A drill does not make round cylindrical things. It looks to me as though you've got something under that filling, which again is quite possibly a microphone.
So how else do you sort of show people that these implants are real?
Well, my doctor, for instance, as I mentioned earlier, I allowed him to palpate them with his fingers at the back of my mouth. I could have you do it now.
Yeah, sure.
Like that. Do it like that.
Okay, in the name of journalism. I'm not...
hang on. You need to press the gum.
Okay. So both fingers at the same time? Okay.
Good thinking. Let's try one.
Let's do one at a time. I'm not feeling anything. Yeah, it's something. There's something hard in there.
Try again.
I feel something there definitely.
Press hard.
Okay. I don't want to hurt you.
Right.
That right there. That thing right there.
Yeah. That's an implant. I will go to a surgeon and be opened up, but I need a surgeon. I'm not going to let a car mechanic, start opening me up.
Has there ever been a moment where you thought maybe this isn't real?
What do you mean?
Like, has there ever been a moment where you thought that you believed the people who said, this isn't true, I don't believe you?
Well, I don't have that problem now.
Why not?
Because everybody believes me.
Is that because you found a community of people who are also targeted? That you've found a group of people?
No, it's because of the scams. I wish I was mad. I wish I had a mental illness. I do. I wish I was psychotic. I wish I was bipolar. I wish I was anything, because I could get treatment for that. For this, I can't.
That was one of the weirdest things I've ever done in my life. I mean, I put my index finger all the way into his mouth to feel the back of his molars.
We met another target at the conference called Fiona, who attempted to avoid targeting by keeping on the move. She was about to move again because she believed a directed energy weapon was being beamed at her friend's apartment.
Tin foil hat people wear these. It does help a little bit, but it's just short-lived. This is the most important thing. This cost me $1,300, but it's well worth it because it's kept me alive.
So do you carry this around with you?
Yeah, everywhere.
You must have really strong muscles.
And every time at customs they say, "Can you open your bag, madam?" They know me. They say, "Oh, it's you again with the lead." And they all laugh. And I tell the customs, I say, "Yes, I'm a targeted individual." And they say, "Oh, yeah." But
so it helps you to just be directly underneath this. Do you sleep in it?
Directly, yes, I sleep with it. I sleep with it. And in fact, I'm feeling a bit better now, but if it's my head that's the important things. But yeah, I sleep, and if I'm on the ground with this over me, I'm really good. Because whatever comes through this, I can ground it. But up on the second floor here, it's difficult. Well, if I'm walking through London, I'm sort of okay. Moving is the best thing, because whatever's focused at me, it has to keep trying to catch up with me. And
what are these?
The thyroid is very susceptible to being damaged by radiation. And this, again, is my very glamorous nightwear. Balaclava, sledge, but it protects the head a lot. And occasionally I have fallen asleep on a bed without these because I've been so exhausted, and I wake up an hour later and it's not pretty, so I try to always remember. I'm really not coming across very well. I'd be better off downstairs talking outside. Yeah.
All right, let's head downstairs then.
I wouldn't normally sleep in a house on the second floor.
Ever think it might be easier if you stayed in one place?
Yes, I would like to, but you can't function. Can I sit in the sun over there?
Yeah, of course.
Once you're on the hit list, and once you know a few things, and especially if you talk, it's not likely that they're going to say, "Oh, let's let Fiona off. She's had enough suffering."
So who are they?
Don't even know if it's people. I just know. How could I know? I just know that there is electromagnetic radiation being beamed at me, and I'm followed.
Really?
I saw a doctor yesterday to have this implant removed. This is only a couple of years ago. It's state-of-the-art nanotech, because even though I would still be targeted without this. It's just not very nice having every move tracked, you know.
Can we go see the lockup that you've been staying at recently? Shall we?
It's been a great learning experience for me because I was kind of a nice middle-class girl, went to Cambridge University, and I've really been thrust into experience things that I wouldn't have ordinarily. So you have to put your life first and do what it takes. So I don't say to them I'm sleeping in the lockup. I tell them I'm just storing my stuff there. But I mean, it's not harming anyone, is it? So I feel okay about it. But it works out at £5 something a night, so it's a cheap bed and breakfast in London. So it's here. So I was so grateful for this. But now something's been beamed at it, so I can't stay here any longer. I'll feel it in a couple of minutes. So I was sleeping diagonally. There's my sleeping bag and my duvet.
If you go inside there, will you experience the targeting?
And it's just all around here. It's not that specific. It's all around here.
Really, so it's this whole area, the whole storage facility.
I get really agitated. If I'm clean, if I've had a clay bath and I'm feeling good and I come here, I'll notice it straight away. But because I've just come out that other place, I don't notice it so much. But I won't stay around to hang out to find out.
Fiona's life on the run seems to have forced her into a solitary world. Kieron, on the other hand, had targeted friends, and he wanted me to meet one of them.
Hello. Hello, mate. How you doing?
I'm 2.2 miles away, stuck in traffic, mate.
All right, dude, give us a ding when you get here.
Right, yeah, no worries.
Take it easy.
Bye.
Who's he?
He's another TI. I call him Magnetron, actually, because he can stick magnets to himself all over the place.
Oh, really?
Yeah, no, he really can. He's his entire person. You ain't going to believe this. I've only got to lock myself out.
There's quite a difference between the harassment that Kieron and I go through, especially when it comes down to the V2K side of stuff. It's everything from that I've experienced and still experience on a daily basis is very negative.
How would you describe what's happening to you right now?
Right this second?
Yeah.
Normal, everything's fine. Get in there, mate.
Sorry?
You managed to get in?
I went up the scaffolding and got in the back of the kitchen window, so I had to climb up. But,
which way are we going, Kieron?
You turn around or go to the end. We're in the one-way systems.
Yeah, it's a crazy world. It's a crazy world for us survivors.
Oh, it certainly is indeed, yeah.
It makes what happened in the Second World War look like a tin pot, nothing.
Like a picnic.
And there was millions died. Do you know what I mean? This is a no-touch torture program.
Without any shadow of a doubt.
There's no question. Many times tried to get me to murder my mother, members of my family, to take me out from society.
To get you thrown in jail?
Yeah.
Or a psych ward or something like that?
Yeah. Left or right, Kieron?
Right, mate. Yeah.
Oh, look, there's another one. This is what happens.
A
visual presence of police. Because they're the ones that actually maintain the daily running of the programme.
I've had a helicopter hovering over my head for 10 minutes with a spotlight on me. Hang her right in here, yeah, and we can turn around and come back this way, can't we?
I just had the operator telling me to stop talking to you.
I know, I'm sorry, mate, you're talking and I'm telling you to turn right.
No, I just had my V2K operator. I'm talking about the V2K, Kieron.
Right.
What, someone's just told you to stop talking to Kieron?
No, to stop talking to you.
Oh, to me?
Yeah.
Are you going to listen to them?
No, I never listen to them. Do you really want to know what he just said?
What?
Go and fuck himself.
Go fuck myself?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ. They're very rude. Yeah.
Because they can be. It's some dickhead sitting in a little tech room that thinks he's playing God.
Ow.
There's double yellows, but I'm going to park here anyway. To any normal Jim Bob on the street, this is crazy talk.
Yeah.
Absolutely, unbelievably crazy. But the thing is that we're not crazy. And that's the proof. I mean, we can prove that we're not crazy. There you go. There's my admission for treatment paperwork. They kept me locked up on a section for 2.5 months.
What was that like?
It was horrendous. This is not an illness.
This is not an illness. You are not dealing with a patient who has a biological mental illness.
That's basically what we are. We're test subjects for a transhumanist
agenda.
globalist
And the medical establishment,
Agenda
of course,
21.
is in on it. Yeah.
We can't phone the police because they're involved.
Exactly. Well
we can't get the local MPs involved because they're involved. We can't get the government involved because they're involved. We're supposed to call the Ghostbusters.
Nowhere to go.
What did they say you had done to get you in there in the first place?
They said that they found me digging in the earth and screaming in the sky.
Did you do anything?
No, I was walking the dog.
Does knowing that you're targeted give you ammunition to fight back against these
Most
voices?
certainly, yeah. Once you actually discover the targeting program, it's a global phenomenon. It actually empowers you. It's hundreds of thousands of people all going through exactly the same program.
One target put it to me, she says, many a great friendship has been forged in concentration camps.
Shane and Kieron were aware that their experiences have many similarities to the symptoms of psychosis, but they were quick to assert their sanity. They wanted to prove they were victims of mind control.
An emergency two-person thermal tent sets up in minutes. Well, we're going to look very silly if it takes us half an hour. If I'm getting microwaved heavily and I can whip this out, set it up and crawl in it, I'll sleep there as opposed to in my bed, really. You know, even if I'm travelling, I can take this with me because I was hammered in Spain.
Kieron and Shane had decided to try to get another scan in order to persuade their doctors of their implants.
When we go into that scanning device, I want to be on that screen, mate. I want to be watching that screen, exactly. And I want to watch you go into that so I know that that is you in there. Because there's no trust. We've got no trust.
Yeah, I know.
Medical profession.
Kieron and Shane continued seeking further evidence, even though they believed it was making their targeting worse. Meanwhile, Fiona's only concern seemed to be trying to reduce her symptoms.
Luckily, through word of mouth, I got to find out that there was an open-minded doctor who did minor surgery. He just numbed my finger. This is obviously very small. I did have a diagnostic X-ray of it a while ago in France, and nothing's visible, so it's obviously nanotechnology, which is pretty obvious anyway, because this is very recent. So there's not much to see. Scar was here, and he's just gouged out stuff, but he gave me a local anaesthetic. It didn't hurt at all. What came out? Well, I asked. That's, I guess, my blood and bits and bobs, and you can't see anything, but he's pretty sure that he got all that out. So in that is what was in my finger. Yeah, I don't know what to do with it, but I'll try and get it somewhere where I'm not going. What I've got to be careful of now is, because I'm sleeping in a truck, I've got to be careful that I can lock the truck from the inside. You know, this is obviously a useful tracking device. But I thought it might be a bit tricky to find somebody, because you have to be careful who you speak to. Don't want to be carted away to a mental asylum.
There was no better proof of the community's conviction than how far they were willing to go to try to make themselves feel better. Miles had continued to post updates about Max's death, and this quickly became a source of unrest in the community.
So what's your website called?
Chronicles of a Mind Control Target. But yes, this was a post about Miles. TIs were up in arms about this. I cannot sit and watch that man talk about Max Spiers anymore. He's actually stating that Max was murdered. Do we know Max was murdered yet?
So what do you think happened to Max then?
Because Max was a TI, he could have been taken out remotely via technological means. That is easy. They do it all the time.
How would that work?
Well, they could induce a heart attack, for instance. This is well known. This has been going on. They've had guns that do that since the 1950s, I believe.
What about that interview where his voice started changing?
Didn't he die shortly after this? Same day or something?
It looked like someone was attacking you. How do you feel that? I know what happened to me, and because I know what happened, I have a great deal of shame. So what do you feel now in your throat?
Numb.
No, I hadn't watched that. I think I'd watched some of the beginning of it, but it's not pleasant, is it? That sounded like somebody who was dying. Did it not? He did. Max was a TI. Max was targeted. The killing us.
The investigation into Max's death was still inconclusive 8 months after it happened. But to the community, this was just another cover-up. Max was assassinated.
Hey,
Shane,
how you doing?
Good, good. How are you? How are you feeling?
Today, very tired, very nauseous, but yeah, that's been the case since the last interview.
Really?
Everything's been cranked right up because it... Do you want to shut the door?
Yeah, sorry.
Exposure is their worst factor. I think a lot of it now is we've got to be very, very careful because I think there's a lot of infiltration into the community, and they may be mentally ill, and they're trying to sort of compensate. Well, I'm not ill. I'm a targeted individual like all these other people are.
Why do you think that's important?
It's putting question marks against true TIs.
How can you tell, though? How can you tell the difference?
You can't.
Yeah, yeah.
It's designed to mimic mental health problems, mental health issues.
Right.
You know, especially with the voices and the talking and all that sort of stuff. Do you want to meet Mum? Mum's in there.
Hey, how's it going?
This is
Sorry for invading your house.
That's all right, no problem.
Hello.
Hiya.
Who's this guy?
That's Ted.
Ted. Hello, Ted.
Ted's been viciously attacked. If you just look, I mean, you can see the white of his eye, more on one eye than the other eye.
So what do you think happened?
Home invasion.
Right.
Not only are they persecuting me, but they're attacking defenceless dogs and animals when I'm not in the house. I've got a very expensive Bose CD system in there that I brought down to show you. This is only one item, and I mean, I came home one day and I went to move it, and the whole case just came off in my hand.
So this is all your evidence?
This is just my folder of colossal amounts of evidence.
What's this about?
The front tiles on the front of my house, all right? Someone had smashed, you can see where the stone had, or something had hit it and smashed all the tiles on the front of my house. Everybody gets a stroke of bad luck every now and then, but to have it continual, to have it continuous, I was just like, something's going on here.
Of course, there are some people who are just really, really, really unlucky.
Well, would you say things like this are unlucky? Would you say things like Would you say things like my dog's eye was unlucky? Would you say that somebody defecating in my bed unlucky?
Why would
I shit in my own bed?
But
seriously, do you know?
More bewildering is why would the government shit your bed?
Or why would the Freemasons' son shit in my bed?
Why would anyone shit in your bed?
Exactly. Why?
When you think about why anyone would shit in your bed, what conclusions do you come to?
I'm just bemused by it. Absolutely bemused. You know, it's unthinkable. You know, why would somebody want to do that?
Yeah.
It's a program. Getting back to the issue that you brought up earlier on, what if this was a mental health problem? Now, so we've got tens of thousands of people all experiencing the same things, so they've all got the same mental health problem. That is some specific mental health issue, isn't it?
Unless all of these symptoms, or a large number of these symptoms, are also mental health symptoms.
It's just impossible. That's impossible. It actually blows the mental health conundrum out the water.
Have you also noticed these home invasions?
I haven't, no. But when Shane tells me...
It's only because I'm like 007, you know what I mean? And I'm literally, I know how I leave things.
It would take so much effort to break into someone's house and dismantle their stuff and attack their dog. Why do you think someone would go through all that effort?
Because they're trying to scare you.
But why would they want to scare Shane so much?
Because he knows what's going on and they don't like it.
Right. Okay. So because he knows that he knows how targeting works.
Yeah.
He's now a problem for them, so they have to target him more to scare him. Yeah.
He's fighting them and they don't like it.
And why did they start targeting him in the first place?
I don't know.
That's the question we don't have an answer for.
I don't know.
That's the holy grail question.
Yeah.
Right.
You know, I'd love to know that.
Yeah.
The people doing it, I hope they get caught.
But for some TIs, it's too late. Like I mentioned, you know, it was only Richard Dowell. It was only last Wednesday. His girlfriend, Desiree, came on and said, "I need to let you all know that that he's killed himself." Death is freedom in this program. You know, for TIs.
During the making of this film, we heard about 4 targeted individual deaths. At least some of these were confirmed as suicides. But for TIs, even a suicide was triggered by the program. It felt important to see if medical professionals were aware of the targeting phenomenon. So I arranged to speak to clinical psychologist Professor Philippa Garrity
A targeted individual is someone who believes that they're being stalked by the government, they believe that they're being mind-controlled. If someone came to you with these beliefs, what would your professional opinion be about what was going on?
Well, I would have a conversation with them first, get as broad a picture as possible, understand when these ideas started and the context in which they started.
What are some of the common symptoms of someone who's experiencing psychosis and delusions?
So one set of experiences is hearing voices, or experience your thoughts as no longer private. And then there's a constellation of beliefs which may occur. And one set of beliefs may be beliefs that people are wanting to harm you.
A lot of the people we've met have actually found it a really reassuring, positive experience to see lists of the symptoms they've experienced online.
Human beings are social beings, and we seek, a social support and a world in which we're understood. And one of the most difficult things for people is that they can feel very alone and very isolated and very frightened. So it's a good thing to find people who share those experiences and can provide understanding and support. The question is whether then that is a group who can help you, or whether it does something slightly different of reinforcing a very high level of preoccupation.
As society does become more of a surveillance state, is it more difficult to distinguish people who have delusions and people who are actually telling the truth?
The question of truth or falsity can be a bit misleading, because do I know whether I'm being subject to surveillance? How would I know? And how would I judge that ultimately? So I don't think it is for mental health professionals or the world in general to force people to change their views of what's happening. But I do think it's for us to help people who are in distress.
In Kieron's case, it was hard to know if meeting other targeted individuals was just a form of group support or an unhealthy preoccupation. Later that night, he was having a dinner party with some friends.
Yeah, this is Nino.
Hey, Matt.
Antonino, nice to meet you.
Good to meet you. So what's the plan for tonight?
We'll buy some food and then we'll go back to my place to cook it and eat.
So how many people are you expecting tonight?
Well, there's 3 TIs, me, Naomi and Richard, and there's Antonino, of course, who's a personal friend of mine, who's a non-TI, yeah.
Antonio, what do you think about the whole TI business?
It's a possibility, you know?
Yeah.
It's a possibility.
A possibility?
Yeah, for me it's a possibility.
Switch them around.
Okay, cool.
One of the hardest parts for you guys, suffering so much from something that no one believes is true.
As soon as you start saying I've got implants, that's it, you'll get a shutdown.
Yeah, I've seen it.
Refer them to psychiatrists.
Refer them to psychiatrists, refer them to psychiatric treatment.
And I'll say this on camera as well, if either Richard or Naomi were to be sectioned, they're going to have to deal with me too. Because I'll be there defending them.
Rock on, Kieron.
Yeah, well, remember it.
We're not begging for permission. We're not even trying to convince you this is real.
But the internet has been our saviour. Without the internet, we could not have hooked up. We could not have learnt what we've learnt. We would be in the dark. We will be in the dark.
I understand there's been a lot of deaths in the TI community. Have you guys heard about this?
People have been dying constantly.
Max has died.
Yeah, constantly
and in the way
for decades now.
As well. There's sufficient evidence here, both abroad, internationally, and at local level, enough and sufficient enough for the government to act. The question is, why aren't they?
Yes.
The internet has allowed targets to find each other and have their experiences validated. And every time a target dies, it strengthens their belief that the threat is real and makes the fight back more urgent.
Being able to open up their mind.
How's the targeting been?
Very heavy. I've got a new little device, actually, a very sensitive metal detector.
Yeah.
That picks up AC wiring. Ted, calm down, please, mate.
Yeah.
So I'll set it here, and it'll beep. All right, that's... Is the arrow pointing somewhere?
Yeah, the arrow's pointing right here, yeah. So you reckon you got an implant right
you
here
tell
in the
me.
middle of the forehead?
What's that doing?
Yeah, do you remember that's where you said that you had implants before?
I'm supposed to be a human being with flesh and blood and bones.
But you feel like a cyborg.
Well, I'm not saying cyborg.
Yeah.
You know, there's something in me that shouldn't be in there. Just recently, on the searching for evidence and searching for ways to combat the bits and pieces, we've secured a facility somewhere in Spain to go and get some full medical scans and full medical readouts done. When I get to the stage where I've got physical scans of foreign objects in myself, I mean, that's going to be one of the biggest libel cases this country's ever seen. Can you see that?
Yeah.
Why haven't they investigated as to why I can attach these magnets to myself?
Could we see the magnets?
Stop, and I'll go and get them from upstairs. Right, now put them anywhere around. You don't have to push it.
Or should we try, like, what about here?
You don't need to push it on.
Okay, right.
Right, hold that on where you just put the magnets. You need to hold that, let it beep. Now, is that normal?
Let's see. So should we try it on me in the same place?
Around that area.
Do you think that...
I think you need to get some scans done, mate.
You think I need some scans too?
Can you stick magnets on your neck?
Is it staying there?
It's not moving.
And so do you think this proves that I
don't know what it proves, mate. I'm not going to comment.
Right. Okay.
The same as I'm not going to comment about why it sticks to me until I get the proof.
Right,
but all I'm saying is, wouldn't you say that's bizarre?
My natural reaction is if it works on me and I haven't got those things, maybe it just picks up like something on every human body.
Who knows?
And maybe magnets can just sort of stick to skin, maybe. I don't know, that's my natural reaction.
Who knows?
When the magnet stuck to me, I thought Shane would start to question its validity as a test, but instead it just made him think that I was implanted myself. His conviction seemed impenetrable to anything that might contradict it.
We do believe, when we get this evidence from Spain, that, there's going to be no stopping us. If it comes to it, I'm thinking about things like getting a load of TIs together and holding a demonstration outside the surgery down here. Why shouldn't we do those sorts of things?
Kieron had just received a letter questioning the validity of his scans.
Okay, this is a letter from my GP. Thank you for your letter last Friday and for loaning the book. I have to admit I found it rather uncomfortable reading for a number of reasons. To suggest that a large number of people are targeted individuals and being persecuted by dark, unseen forces using remote neurosurveillance and implantable devices and being mislabeled as mentally ill is hard to swallow as a medically trained person myself. I might understand if someone was being tracked because they were a spy, involved in espionage, or with the potential to commit a terrorist activity, but the vast majority of people are of no interest to such higher powers. What is the reason for you being targeted, stroke monitored as you believe yourself to be? In terms of probability, and you are not going to like to hear this, I think you have a mental disorder, and to say otherwise will be disingenuous of me. I sincerely hope I'm wrong, of course. There is always that possibility, but I don't think so somehow. There's two major things that stand out from this letter. One, and this is from the positive bent, shall we say, he seems to have come around to a degree in accepting some of what I'm saying to him. But the really, really infuriating aspect of this letter is the fact that he's had to bring up me having a mental disorder after I've spent all this time, and then I'm back at square one. The one that counts, the gatekeeper, the doctor I'm registered with, that legally has to deal with me, has tried to tell me that this is interference on the scans. He's rounded off this letter by stating, I'm just not convinced at all. Sorry. Well, if that's the case, I 100% believe that I can convince him. Because to my mind, I mean, I am blessed with my mental stability, but nobody's going to accept it until they've seen physical, acceptable evidence.
These are all I planted all these plants, all these trees.
And did you have to leave this house because of the targeting?
Yeah. Well, they poisoned me in here.
They poisoned you?
They nearly killed me in here.
When you're here, do you get more targeted?
I used to get all sorts of people creeping around the backs and all that sort of stuff. Can we get out of here? I don't feel comfortable.
Really?
No.
Is the targeting?
No, it's nothing to do with targeting. It's nothing. It's being human. You know, you can appreciate it. I mean, it's quite emotional.
All right, well, we can get out of here then.
Yeah, I'd like that. Yeah. But yeah, this is what I used to own, and was taken away. I was basically run out of my own town. Well, I could have stayed. I could have stayed and died here.
How is it giving you relief to know that all of this has been part of a government program and that you're a targeted individual?
It just confirms your sanity, doesn't it? Does that make sense?
Yeah. So it gives you relief to know that
it's coming from an outside force. I mean, this has all been put on me.
Because it means that you're not crazy and it's real.
It means I've got something to fight against. Does that make sense?
Yeah, of course.
It means that I've got something, I've still got a journey to go. I've still got a task at hand. Do you know what I mean? I've still got to find a solution. I don't think the targeting's going to stop once I get these scans done. But it's going to make me feel a whole lot better with evidence to come back to this country and go, what have you been up to?
Yeah.
You know, why have you done this? Why have you covered it up prior?
Yeah.
And now I've had to go to a foreign country to get the evidence to prove what I was telling you in your office, Mr. Doctor, Mr. Consultant, Mr. Specialist Ear, Nose and Throat Doctor.
Yeah.
I mean, you ridiculed me about putting magnets on my face. Now tell me what that is. Can you see?
This little park here is nice. I did speak to Kieron briefly and said that I'd seen you.
Oh, you spoke to Kieron?
Briefly, yeah. He was saying he's going somewhere.
He's getting his brain scanned in Spain.
Yes, that's what he said, and he's taking Shane with him.
Yeah. So you look like you're on the go. You've got everything packed up.
I've always got everything packed up. I live out of a suitcase. So my plan is I'm going to rent a shipping container, which normal people use to store their things in. I'm going to tell the guy I'm storing my stuff in there, but really I'm going to store my stuff and sleep in there. Woo! Woo! Woo!
So when you finally get this shipping container and you've moved in, do you think that's going to solve all your problems?
No, of course not. Not daft. It's going to get me through the next day, the next week. But I don't want people to think I'm running away from something. And you know, it's a choice, it's a decision. We all have that choice.
What has your choice been?
My choice is to say thank you for helping wake me up to the realization that this is actually occurring. And it does explain a lot, actually, because when I was a child, I looked around, I thought, why are people behaving in these extraordinarily bizarre, stupid ways? And why do we have to have this system? And why are we all sitting in rows at school? And obviously something is wrong, simply because there's a massive discrepancy between what society is like and what it could be. What it could be is absolutely just really, and I know that in my, it's going to bring tears to my eyes to go there, but I can't really go there anymore because I'm too, after my sauna I could.
Is finding other people who share your same experience of reality, is that helping you to find that your reality is real?
Everybody's reality is, I guess, their unique reality, isn't it? And there seems to be a consensus reality, but it seems over the last 10 years or so, a lot of people are coming up and saying, I am having voices in my head which are not mine, or I have been implanted, because, you know, I want hardcore proof as much as the next person. But in my life, I believe I have that because I have first-hand experience of it. But I don't think my targeting is any more a dream than anything else, that's what I'm saying. But where there's a will, there's a way, I always believe.
What's in that box?
Just an electrosmogmeter to avoid Wi-Fi. It measures microwave radiation, so if you put it near a cell phone tower. But it's not, I don't want to focus too much on the electrosensitive because that's just a little side effect. I'll read it when I'm walking. I just wonder what...
If targeting gave Shane a way of fighting back, it gave Fiona a way of understanding why the world was full of so much pain. Later that evening, Shane and Kieron had an important meeting to confirm the scans in Spain.
Of course, yeah. I mean, what we're trying to do is engineer a position from which we can, well, bring matters to bear, get the official recognition we need.
Make somebody accountable, mate. We need to make somebody accountable for what they've done to us.
Yeah, but first, my priority is to get an operation and then pursue who's accountable.
Yeah.
So if this technology was removed from me, it would be like an animal being let loose from a trap. Simple as that, yeah.
And we've never been in this situation before. We've never had this opportunity before.
We're not scientists.
No.
We're not doctors.
We're just level-headed, grounded people with a reasonable level of intelligence that knows that there's something wrong, drastically wrong going on.
Without exaggerating, we're making history here.
What a bohemian-like singer, isn't it?
We should go camp outside Downing Street when we've got the evidence, mate.
Targeted individuals' beliefs trap them in a terrifying reality and encourage them to reject professional help. But it's easy to see why the number of targeted individuals is growing. For people who hear voices or feel that they've lost control of their thoughts, it provides an explanation that affirms their sanity. When I first met the TI community, I wanted to understand how they could believe something so improbable. But I realized I had to forget about whether it was true or not, because challenging targets' beliefs drives them further into an isolated group where their ideas are reinforced. Whether or not the program is real, what's more important is that the anxiety, loneliness, and tragedy they feel definitely is. And where society has failed to offer them a solution, they've gone online and found each other.
So where are you going now?
Shall I say?
Yeah.
I am going to India tomorrow. I've got a flight to Mumbai. I'm not very good at doing two things, but speaking and doing things. Sorry.
It's totally fine. I think you're doing a great job. I guess it's a small upshot of the targeting that it's motivated you to stay healthy.
Strong mind, strong body.
Yeah.
Go hand in hand.
Well, I've got the evidence and I can feel this, and everything I was stating before as to why I don't doubt my circumstances is just, it's a fact.
That's it.